Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam, Melech haolam, Shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King, who has kept us and sustained us and preserved us to come to this season of Sukkot, Zaman Simchatenu, the season of our joy. I ask, Lord, that you would pump joy into us. I ask, Lord, that your simcha, not your sason necessarily, but your simcha, not your happiness, but your joy, would permeate us, our minds, our hearts, our gut. I ask you, Lord, that you would help us to feel what you feel on Sukkot, which is your joy. Thank you, Abba. There's a box in my office with etrogim in it. Together. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How goodly are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. I come into your holy house and bow toward your sanctuary in awe of you. Lord, I love the house where you dwell, the place where your glory sits. I bow myself and bend the knee before the Lord my Maker. In your abounding kindness, answer me with the truth of your Yeshua. For Yeshua, your Messiah, is truth and the answer to all that we seek on your holy Shabbat. Song of the Day, page 3. Let's try the Hebrew together. Mizmor Shir Layom Shabbat. Tov lahodot la'Adonai ulzamer l'shimcha elyon. Lahagid baboker chazdecha ve'emunatcha balelot alei asor va'alei navel alei higayon Bechinor, a psalm, a song for the Shabbat day. It is good to praise the Lord and make music to your name most high, to declare your loving kindness in the morning and your faithfulness at night. Upon the 10 strings, upon the harp, and the small harp. You, Lord, have made me glad by what you have done. I will sing for joy at the works of your hands. How great are your works, O Lord! Your thoughts are very deep. The senseless one has no knowledge, nor can a stupid man understand that when the wicked sprang up like grass and all who did iniquity flourished, it was only that they might be destroyed forever. But you, Lord, are on high forever. Behold your enemies, Lord. Behold your enemies will perish, and all who do iniquity will be scattered. For you have exalted my horn like that of the re'im, the wild oryx. I have been anointed with oil, and my eyes have looked upon my enemies. My ears hear of the evildoers who rise against me. The righteous will flourish like a palm, planted in the house of the Lord. They will flourish in the courts of our God. He is my rock. It is good to praise the Lord and make music to your name, O God most high, to proclaim your love and faithfulness all the day and through the night. La la la, la 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 peace, O Lord, so I sing for joy at all your hands have made. How great are your works, O Lord, Elohim Baruch Hashem. La la la, la 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 la. May I dwell in your courts, O Lord, there to flourish like the trees of Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai, there to live forevermore. It is good to praise the Lord and make music to your name, O God Most High, to proclaim your love and faithfulness all the day and through the night. La la la, la 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 You may be seated. Odula Adonai kir'u vishmo, Hodi'u ba'amim alilotav, Shiru lo zamru lo sichu b'kol niflotav, Hitzhalelu b'shem kadsho, Yismach leb mavakshe Adonai.
Praise the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people. Sing to him, sing praises to him, speak of all his wonders, glory in his holy name. The heart of those who seek the Lord be glad.
Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face continually. Remember his wonderful deeds which he has done, his marvels and the judgments from his mouth. O seed of Israel, his servants.
Remember his covenant forever, the word which he established for 1,000 generations. The covenant which he made with Abraham and his oath to Isaac. He also confirmed it to Yaakov for a statute.
To Israel as an everlasting covenant, saying, to you I will give the land of Canaan as the portion of your inheritance. Hodu la'Adonai kito, ki le'olam chasdo. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His mercy is everlasting. Next page. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav. Again. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav. Happy is the people whose lot is thus. Happy is the people whose God is the Lord. Let's stand. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yemloch, le'olam va'ed. The Lord is king. The Lord was king. The Lord will be king forever and ever. You are God by virtue of the strength of your power, great by virtue of the glory of your name, the powerful one to eternity, the awesome one by virtue of your awesome works. HaMelech HaYoshev al Kisei, Ram Venisa, the king who sits on his throne, high and lifted up. Blessings of the Shema on page 7. Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach. Bless the Lord who is to be blessed. The Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, le'olam vayed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom forever and ever. Va'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol lavavecha uv'kol nafshecha uv'kol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha v'beitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shaktecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam laot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvish arecha. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words that I set up for you today shall be upon your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children. You shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk in the way, when you lie down, when you arise. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and in your gates. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei choshech, osei shalom uvorei et hakol. Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King, who forms light, creates darkness, who makes shalom and creates all things. The Amidah, take 3 steps. Well, I don't. If you can, take 3 steps forward. Together. Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. My Lord, open my lips, and my mouth will declare your praise. Blessed are you, Lord our God, God of our fathers, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, great, mighty, awesome God who gives gracious kindness, who remembers the kindness of our fathers, and in love brought a Redeemer, Messiah Yeshua, to their children's children for his name's sake. Melech Ozer, Umashiach, Umagen, King, Helper, Savior, and Shield. You are mighty forever, O Lord, and you give life to the dead. You are mighty to save. Now, during Sukkot, we change from Morid Hatal, who creates the dew, to, on the top of page 10, let's say it together. Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem. He causes the wind to blow and the rain to fall, because it's Sukkot is when we start praying for rain. He sustains the living with loving kindness, resurrects the dead with great mercy, supports the falling, heals the sick, releases the bound, keeps faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like him, keeping from the fairy, and brings death, restores life, causes Yeshua to spring forth. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot metim. You are faithful to resurrect the dead. Blessed are you, Lord, who resurrects the dead. Nekadesh et shemcha ba'olam, Hashem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv al yad neviyecha, v'kara ze el ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melo kol haaretz, kivodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir Shimcha bekol haaretz, Baruch kivod Adonai mimkomo. Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Behu ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהייך ציון לדור ודור. Hallelujah. We sanctify your name eternally, as it is sanctified in the heavens above, as written by the hand of your prophets, and they called one to another, Kadosh, 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 Lord of hosts, the whole earth is full of your glory. Majestic one, our majesty, Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Blessed be the glory of the Lord from his place. Our God, he is one. He is our Father. He is our King. He is our Savior. And he is our salvation, merciful in the sight of all living things. I am Jehovah your God. Adonai shall reign forever and ever. Your God, O Zion, from generation to generation. Hallelujah. To all generations we declare your greatness, and for all eternity we proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Blessed are you, Lord, the holy God. Spirit, lift me up. I hear a great roar, a rumbling in my ear, a sound I can't ignore. Baruch kivod Adonai v'imkomo. Baruch kivod Adonai v'imkomo. Take it to your heart, all my words I speak to you. Baruch kivod Adonai v'imkomo. Hear the sound of wings, of the creatures near your throne, of the rumbling of your chariot wheels. Make your glory known. Baruch kivod Adonai v'imkomo. Baruch kivod Adonai v'imkomo. Take into your heart all my words I speak to you. Baruch kivod Adonai v'imkomo. Blessed be the glory. Blessed be the glory. Blessed be the glory of the Lord from his place. Blessed be the glory. Blessed be the glory. Blessed be the glory of the Lord from his place. Blessed be the glory. Blessed be the glory. Blessed be the glory of the Lord from his place. Baruch kivod Adonai v'imkomo. during the Amidah that we do the prayer for the lulav and etrog. So I think it's going to be a page or a page and a half. We're going to put together the lulavim. Middle of page 12, together. Our God and God of our fathers, may you be pleased with our rest. Set us apart by your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Gladden us with your Yeshua. In love, favor, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat. Blessed are you, Lord, who sanctifies the Shabbat. Be gracious toward your people Israel in their prayers, and restore the service of your temple, and accept with love and favor the fire offerings and prayers of Israel and the other nations that come up to your house to worship and know you. May our eyes behold your return to Zion in compassion. Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shechinato Tzion. Blessed are you, Lord, who restores your presence to Zion. Hoda'ah, thanksgiving. We gratefully thank you that you are the Lord our God, as you are the God of our fathers for all eternity. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation. We thank you for our lives that are committed to your power, for your miracles that are with us every day. Compassionate one, your kindnesses never end. Everything alive will thank and praise your name forever. For you are good, O God. You are our everlasting Yeshua and our help. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha, na'el lahadot. Blessed are you, Lord. Your name is good, and to you it is good to give thanks. Grant lasting peace to your people Israel, for you are King, Master of all shalom. Bless us, Father, as one with the light of your face, for by it you gave us the Torah of life, of righteousness, of blessing, and of shalom. Baruch atah Adonai hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Blessed are you, Lord, who blesses your people Israel with peace.
Even though we can't be contained in the heavens, highest of heavens, much less this house we've made. May your eyes be open, may your eyes be open to this house night and day, to the place which you said, please sing, to the place which you said, my name is there. The Lord would reign over Zion, over all who assembled there. A cloud of smoke seen by day and at night, a pillar of fire over all the glory, over all the glory. A cope for his bride, and a sukkah for shelter, a sukkah for shelter from storm and rain. The fallen sukkah of David, in the day I won't ignore, oh, all of its broken places, and its ruins I will restore, and I will build her, yes, I will build her, as in days of old, for all of the nations, yes, all of the nations to bear my name. Bayom HaHuakim, Bayom HaHuakim, Bayom HaHuakim, Sukkot David, Sukkot David, oh, Sukkot David, Hanofelet, Sukkot David, Megadalti, Et Pirteihen, Sukkot David, V'harisu Tavakim, V'harisu Tavakim, V'harisu Tavakim, Sukkot David, Sukkot David, Sukkot David, Me'olam Sukkot David, L'goyim Hashem, Mikra Shemi, Sukkot David, will God really dwell on the earth, even though we can't be contained in the heavens, highest of heavens. Let's bless this house we made. May your eyes be open. May your eyes be open to this house night and day, to the place which you said, to the place which you said, my name is there. Bayom Hahuakim, Bayom Hahuakim, Bayom Hahuakim, Sukkot David, Sukkot David, Sukkot David, Hanobele, Sukkot David, Megadarti, Et Pirteihem, Sukkot David, Baharisotav Akim, Baharisotav Akim, Baharisotav Akim, Sukkot David, Sukkot David, Sukkot David, Oki Me'olam, Sukkot David, L'goyim Hashem, Mikra Shemi, Sukkot David, oh, Nitiyah, Oki Me'olam, Nitiyah, Oki Me, oh, Nitiyah, Oki Me'olam,
So you have your heart, your spine, your eyes, and your mouth. All the things that we worship with. Let's do the intro again. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam,
Eloheinu melech haolam,
asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav,
asher kidshanu
v'tzivanu
b'tzivanu
al netilat lulav.
netilat lulav.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King,
Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King,
who has set us apart by your establishments
who set us apart by your establishment,
and established for us to take the lulav.
established for us to take the lulav.
Now turn it pitom up, shake 3 times forward, right, back, left, up, down. And if you can, say Hoshiana Hatzlichana while you do it. Hoshiana Hatzlichana, Hoshiana Hatzlichana, Hoshiana Hatzlichana. Save now, we beseech you. Prosper now, we beseech you.
Let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God.
Let's use a tambourine.
Let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God.
So, you want to use your mouth. That's the willow. You want to use your eyes. That's the myrtle. You want to use your spine, which is your strength, your body. Let's worship Him. Come on.
And use the tambourine. Let's go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob.
they blow the shofar on Shabbat, but what we're going to be looking at in the scriptures is about going up to the temple, and it says blow the shofar over your sacrifices at the festivals. So you can see it. So I have a short teaching, just some thoughts about Sukkot. Two things are the main thing that I'm focusing on. Number one is it says in Deuteronomy 16, it says the word simcha 3 times associated with Sukkot. Did you know that? Do you know how many times it says it for Passover?
1.
0. You know how many times it says it for Shavuot? 0. That is correct. This is the only festival of the 3 of the Reglaim Shloshim, the 3 festivals we go up to Jerusalem, that says you shall be joyful, and it says it 3 times. It says you shall be ach sameach. Ach means only. It's a hard thing to do. It doesn't necessarily mean happy. It means joyful, and they're different. Joyful is like an inner, long-standing thing. Happiness is fleeting, comes and goes. It's kind of according to what's happening. But simcha is deeper than that. Can somebody get me some water, please? Simcha is deeper than that. It's like lodged on the inside, and it says about Sukkot, you shall be only joyful. It's like, it's one of the 613 mitzvot that at Sukkot you are to be joyful. That's one of the mitzvot. So you got to do whatever you got to do to work that up. I know it sounds ridiculous. Thank you very much. I know it sounds ridiculous. Listen to me again. You have to do whatever you got to do to work that up. I know that in most groups, they try to produce some sort of show or entertainment or whatever so that people will feel happy and get involved and stuff like that. That is not how Judaism works. It is our responsibility to do something, to show, to worship with our body and our mind and our soul and our strength. It's our responsibility. So you got to put some effort into it. Yes. Very good. I got to get it on here. David said, bless the Lord. He's telling his soul, bless the Lord, my soul, and everything in me. He's commanding it to do it. And sometimes you got to do that. So, if you're told how, not just a command, a law to yourself, you will do this. That's right. Not a picture. It's not a picture. Oh, come on, son. No. It's a command. You must do it. Now, what God said is not a command. It's a picture. But he's telling us, let's act it out. We're going to make ourselves do it. Does that make sense? It's not going to happen by magic. All right. So, the most basic thing in the Talmud about the Sukkah is the original question of why? What is this? And the original question, I've got it here for you. It's in the Talmud under Sukkah, obviously. And there's 2 rabbis that give 2 different opinions. One of them is Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says it was mamash a sukkah that God told him to live in. Mamash means just like, that's it. That's it. Reality. It's mamash a sukkah, a physical sukkah. But I think it's Rabbi Eliezer. Yeah, Rabbi Eliezer said no. It's a picture of the glory cloud. The glory cloud. I've talked about this before, but it really makes sense to me now. It really makes sense. So we're going to read this, what it says in the Talmud. Reish Lachish said, Since the mitzvah of Sukkot evokes the cloud of glory. Look, he says it like it's known. So we're supposed to go, excuse me, where did you come up with that little doctrine, my friend? He says, they tell us where he gets it. Grace Lakish says, since the mitzvah of Sukkot evokes the clouds of glory with which God enveloped the Israelites in the desert, the legal status of roofing should be like that of a cloud. The legal status of roofing, it's called the sakach. Sakach. And it means something thatched or woven. So they're talking about, like, how do you know you've done the right roof? Okay, so this is where we get it from. It should be like a cloud. Now, if it was solid, like the top of the gazebo, is that like a cloud? No, because it's too solid. The cloud is transitory. It changes, it shifts, it gets holes in it, just like this. So that's why they're saying it should be like this. This should be a picture of something transitory, that it doesn't last. And then he says more. He says, just as a mist is a thing that's not susceptible to uncleanness and originates from the soil. Did you know that mist originates from the ground?
Yeah, like in Genesis.
No, not in Genesis. I mean nowadays. Nowadays. Did you know that now the mist comes from the ground? Yeah, I never would have thought of that. I thought that it starts in the air, and then because of the temperature, it makes water on the ground. But that's not so.
Because it's a cloud, it's the coolness of the cloud hitting the hot
Right, the
earth,
coolness of the
and it
cloud is
creates a mist.
hitting the hot earth, and it creates a mist. Yeah. So I guess it's just like cooking. It makes steam. Just as a mist is a thing that is not susceptible to uncleanness originates, so the sukkah, the sachach of the sukkah should be kind of like that. Not susceptible to uncleanness. In other words, it comes up out of the soil. So how are you going to make a picture of a cloud out of something that grows up out of the ground? Branches. That's how we do it. It's a perfect solution. Because it grows up out of the ground like mist. It's not susceptible to uncleanness because it's in the ground. It grew up out of the ground. You can't make ground unclean. So it's a perfect solution. So then another rabbi says, okay, that's acceptable for somebody who says that the booths of the wilderness were clouds of glory. But according to one who says the Israelites made for themselves Sukkot, mamash Sukkot, just real Sukkot, what can you say about that? How can you tie that in? It has been taught, for I made the children of Israel to dwell in Sukkot. These were clouds of glory, says Rabbi Eliezer. But Rabbi Akiva says, no, they made for themselves booths mamash Sukkot. So they never answer the question. They never say, if it was real Sukkot that they lived in, how do you make that equate to the clouds of glory? You can't. You just can't. So the bottom line is that Rabbi Eliezer was right and Rabbi Akiva was wrong. That it is not about a real booth. It is definitely about the clouds of glory. Do you understand why they got to that? Okay. So, the mist from the earth. Now, they say it in the Talmud like we're supposed to know the answer, but we don't know the answer. So I looked up the answer. Here's the answer. Genesis 2:6, like you said, Eileen. There went up a mist from the earth. The mist came from the earth. So mist is a picture of clouds, yeah? So it came from the earth. And so this stuff that we make the sukkah out of came from the earth and watered the entire face of the earth. Psalm 135. Now what we're looking for is the glory cloud being like a mist. You get what I'm saying? That it comes from the earth. Comes from the earth. Psalm 135. He causes the mist to ascend. Now this is not in the old days. This is like current. He's saying currently. He causes the mist to ascend from the ends of the earth. Where does the mist come from? The ends of the earth. The earth. He makes lightnings for rain. He brings the ruach out of his treasuries. And what do we pray at the Amidah? Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem. He makes the wind blow and the rain to come. And that switches at Sukkot, because during the summer, we say he causes the dew to ascend. Right? Ascend from where? The earth. But now he causes the wind to blow and the rain to come. Jeremiah 10. And it's also the word for word in 51:16. Jeremiah 51:16. When he utters his voice, there's a multitude of waters in the heavens. What is heaven made out of? Water. Water. All three heavens are made out of water. Sha, the letter shin, on mayim. Mayim means water. Sha mayim. That's how you say heavens. Heaven is water with the shin stuck into it. And it says that in the scriptures, that the heavens are made out of water. There is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the mist to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightnings with rain and brings forth the ruach out of his treasuries. All right, so they have a little bit of authority to say that the sukkah is a picture of the kavod, the glory cloud. It's kavod in Hebrew, kavod, right? Do you see it? That they have authority to say that this transitory thing made out of branches is a picture of the glory cloud. So here's ones that directly say the kavod, the glory cloud, is a sukkah. These verses directly say it. Job 36. Can anyone understand the spreading of the clouds, the noise or clamor or tumult of his what? His sukkah. He's saying straight up that the clouds are his sukkah. His sukkah is made out of cloud. Yes? Did you see it? I can't tell if you're tracking with me. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Psalm 18. He rode on a cherub and flew. He made darkness his hiding place, his sukkah around him. What's his sukkah around him? Darkness. Darkness of waters, thick clouds of the heavens. So now he describes what the darkness is. It's dark, thick, what?
Water.
Clouds. Dark, thick clouds. That's his sukkah. He comes right out and tells us. Thick clouds of the heavens, from the brightness before him past his thick clouds. All right? Are you starting to see the picture? Why this is a picture of God's glory? As a shade, as a refuge from the heat? Isaiah 4. This is one of my favorite passages in the whole Bible. I love this passage. Isaiah 4, 4 through 7. When the Lord has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, then the Lord will create over the entire area of Mount Zion and over her assemblies 7 coverings. 7 coverings. Cloud, Anan. Say Anan. That's a cloud by day. Smoke, Ashan. And the shining, Noga. Noga. Of a fire, Esh. By night. For over all the kavod, say kavod, over all the kavod, the glory, will be a chuppah, a canopy, and a sukkah, to give shadow from the heat by day and refuge and protection from storm and rain. So, why are there 7 coverings? Why 7 coverings? I mean, I just listed them and I numbered them for you. There's 7 or 8 coverings. Can anybody pick out the possible 8th?
Wasn't there several layers for the tabernacle?
No, here in this list. Can anybody pick out the possible 8th?
Shadow.
It doesn't say that. Oh, shadow from heat. I see what you're saying. No, that's not it.
The part that says refuge or protection.
Nope, it's the one that says flaming. Lehava. Now, the rabbis argue whether that is a separate covering or whether it's a description of the esh, the fire. Lahava means flaming. So, but That's just like Sukkot, isn't it? How many days of Sukkot are there?
7.
Or 8. Shemini Atzeret. So it works that way too, yes.
Wouldn't these also be like a picture of the 7-day plan of God in that it's describing like each 1,000 year, the cloud, the smoke, which is like the offerings, the like the fire when Messiah comes, glory, and then the kingdom. Wouldn't all of these also give us a picture of the 7-day plan of God?
I don't know if you can make a correlation for each one being a picture of one of the days, but perhaps. I don't know. I've never done it, so I don't know. But it's, if you want to go find out, go find out. It's possible for sure. So look at the number 1 and number 7. Look at number 1 and number 7. Cloud, Sukkah. The clouds around God, what are they? What are they? The clouds around God, what are they? Say words out loud.
Sukkot.
You say words out loud. What are the clouds around God? I know. Okay. Number 1 is clouds. Number 7 is Sukkah, but they're the same exact thing. So every one of these is really the same thing. The smoke, the shining, the fire, the glory, the canopy, they're all the same thing. But God obviously wants us to picture it in layers, like 7 layers. But really, that's how God is. He's concealed behind concealments and concealments and concealments. Fire, and we just read it. Fire and lightning, bright shining, glory, dark clouds, water. All these things are concealing him. And they are his sukkah. All of these are his sukkah. But if you had to trim them all down and say which one is his sukkah, which one would it be? The cloud. So what I said was, why are there 7? Why are there 7? Well, mainly because there's a lot of 7s associated with Sukkot, basically. So it's the 7th festival in Leviticus 23. What's the first festival?
Shabbat.
Shabbat. What's the second festival?
Passover.
Paso. No. Hagamatzah. Hagamatzah. What's the third festival? Second day of Hagamatzah. Last day of Hagamatzah. What's the 4th festival? Shavuot. What's the 5th festival? Rosh Hashanah. What's the 6th festival? Yom Kippur. What's the 7th festival? Sukkot. What's the 8th festival? Shemini Atzeret. So if you take out Shabbat and you just look at the festivals, Shemini Atzeret is the 7th. Oh, no, we skipped one. No, we didn't. We did fine. But if you put Shabbat in there, then Sukkot is the 7th. Shemini Atzeret is the 8th. All right. 7th festival. It's a 7-day festival from the 15th through the 21st, obviously. There's 7 years. Now, at the end of 7 years, what's to be done? What's to be done at the end of every 7 years?
Jubilee.
No, that's at the end of 50 years.
Shemitah.
Yes, but what is to be done during the Shemitah year?
The land of rest.
Give the land a rest. What else? Read the Torah. So there's 613 mitzvot, right? Number 612, the second to the last one, is this mitzvah. It says you shall kahal the congregation at the end of every 7 years at Sukkot and read the whole Torah. They say it's the book of Deuteronomy. I don't know, probably Deuteronomy. But that's done at Sukkot every 7 years on the Shemitah year. And also, nobody said it, don't you release the captives, the debts and the captives. Now, the Jubilee is for releasing all captives, but if there's somebody who has served 7 years, they're let go, free. Then, at Sukkot, they used to make
7 hakafot with their lulav and etrog.
You said the 612?
612th.
It says not to suffer and to sleep.
No. The 612th is the one we just read. Different countings,
About the
obviously.
captive, about the captive?
No, about getting together. Kahal, getting the congregation together at Sukkot at the end of every 7 years and reading the Torah. All right. There were 7 hakafot that were done. Do you know what that is? Okay, it's a circuit around the altar. Now the altar was like from here to that vine, 35 feet. It's huge. And then all the people would walk around. And by the way, very little space in the court next to the altar. Very little space. Like as big as this gazebo in Sukkot. That's it. It's like 12 cubits. That's it. And so everybody went around that altar right up to the temple, right up near the temple. I'm not sure how they did it because there's very little space there on the side with the temple and the altar. Very little space. Maybe as much as this sukkah. That's it. And everybody had to pass through there. They went around the altar with their lulav and their etrog. And they would do this for the 7 days of the festival. Then there's 70 offerings. Let's go to Numbers 29. So we're just going to look through it pretty quick. Numbers 29 has a list of all the festival offerings. And at Sukkot, verse Yom Kippur is verse 5. Verse 7 is Yom Kippur. All the way down to verse 11. Okay, verse 12. On the 15th day of the 7th month, you shall have a Mikra Kodesh. You shall do no work. You shall observe a Hag to the Lord. A Hag, a feast, means a circle, or circle dance, for 7 days. And you shall present a burnt offering, an offering by fire. And then it says 13 bulls, right? That's day 1 of the festival, 13 bulls. Now look at verse 17. Then on the 2nd day, 12 bulls. Look at verse 20. Then on the 3rd day, 11 bulls. And it does that 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, until it gets down to the 7th day. So if you add all those up, it comes up, right, it comes up to 70. 70 bulls were offered every Sukkot. So why 70 bulls? Right, for the Gentiles, for the 70 nations. So think about this. This is called Hag HaGoyim.
For Gentiles.
Right. Hag HaGoyim, the feast of the nations. And the Jews offered the offerings for the Gentiles. They're praying, but they're praying for the Gentiles, serving the Gentiles. That's the job of the Jew, is in the temple to serve the Gentiles. And then for the rest of the time, the Gentiles serve the Jew, so that the Jews do the spiritual things and the Gentiles serve with physical things, basically. But I always loved that when I first learned it. It was like, wow, that is so cool. That on Sukkot, all the Gentiles are prayed for, all 70 nations. And then, let's go to Matthew 17. Matthew 17, they call this the Transfiguration. Do you know what that means?
Right, the change. He transitioned. It's a transition. So they should just call it the change. But that's not as dramatic as the transfiguration. All it means is he changed. That's all it means. So Matthew 17 says, and 6 days later, there's the whole thing right there. That's the whole story right there. So what day is it? Huh? What day is it? The seventh day. But people read that, they just buzz right over it. And 6 days later, that's the story right there. And 6 days after, that makes it the seventh day. And in the seventh day, in other words, in the kingdom, they are now in the kingdom. Pharisees came up to him. Right? Yeshua took with him Kepha, Jacob, John his brother, and brought them up to a high mountain by themselves. Now, who else did God bring up to a high mountain and show him the kingdom? I heard Moshe, Abraham. No, Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 40. He took Ezekiel up to a high mountain and literally showed him the kingdom. Now, there's Abraham, he showed him the kingdom. David, he showed him the kingdom. Moses, he showed him the kingdom. But it says of Moses that God took him up on the mountain for him to die, and he looked and he saw the land. It doesn't say the kingdom. We know it's the kingdom. But literally, it says of Ezekiel that God took him up on the high mountain, took him to the future, and showed him the temple and the kingdom. So that one's literal. This is what's happening here. He took them up on a high mountain by themselves, and he was changed in front of them. And his face shone like the sun, and his garments became as white as light. And Moshe and Eliyahu appeared to them, talking with him. And Kepha said, Lord, it's good for us to be here. If you want, I'll make 3 Sukkot here. One for you, one for Moshe, and one for Eliyahu. Maybe you know how hard and how long it takes to make a sukkah. Nowadays, with nails and screws and hammers and stuff, and beams and helpers. Can you imagine what he's saying? This is like, I don't know, a 2-day job or something. And he says, I'll make 3 of them. One for you, one for Moshe, one for Eli. Why not just make one? Why not just make one for all of them? What's your best guess? Not even a guess. Okay. We'll move on. All right. So he says, I'll make 3 Sukkot. Why would he say I'll make 3 Sukkot? Well, no. I'm not asking about 3 anymore. You didn't say anything, so we're done. Why would he say I'll make 3 Sukkot instead of make 3 sets of sandals? Or prepare 3 meals? Why did he say 3 Sukkot?
During Sukkot?
Yes, because it's Sukkot. So it's the 7th day, right? Yes?
Yes.
I feel like I'm pushing a rock uphill right now. It's the 7th day. It is Sukkot. He's going to make 3 Sukkot for some reason that I guess we're not going to discuss.
And they could say anything.
And while he was still speaking, while Peter was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud. What is God's bright cloud? His sukkah. Overshadowed them, just like the cloud overshadowed Israel in Kadesh, in the wilderness, and in the year before and the year after. When they were in the wilderness, the cloud was over them by day, and the fire was over them by night. But I think it had both. I think you could just see the smoke during the day, and you could see the fire at night. But I believe it had both in it, both fire and smoke in the cloud, in the pillar of cloud. So that showed up over them. And behold, a voice came out of the cloud saying, this is my beloved son with whom I'm well pleased. Listen to him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their faces and they were very afraid. Okay, so that's why there was a cloud. That's why a cloud overshadowed them. Because Peter, it's Sukkot. Peter says, man, I'll build 3 Sukkot for some reason. And then God, right, yeah, but why make 3? Why not just make 1 for everybody?
There's 2 weddings, right?
There are 2 weddings.
So what would I don't know.
All right, something for you to think about, I guess. So then God shows up with his sukkah, which is his cloud. So what we're looking at is why 7, all the 7s of Sukkot. So why are there 7 coverings in the kingdom? That's why we're looking at it. Because there's a lot of 7s associated with Sukkot. Yep.
For the Sukkot, does that have anything to do with Moses, Elijah, prophet, and then Yeshua?
That is way too complicated for me to follow, but you might be right. I just couldn't follow it. It's too complicated. I'm looking for a simple answer. Why do you make 3 Sukkot? That's all.
For each one, just Moses, the prophet, the Torah, the prophets, and
But why not make 1 for all 3 of them? It's a lot harder to make 3 than it is to make 1.
why do you keep them separated?
How long did it take us to make this rickety thing? A couple hours? What?
Oh, like 20 minutes of that.
No, you're out of your gourd, my little friend. It took at least an hour, but then I added all the stuff on top and did some stuff to the sachach. So I'd say a couple hours for this rickety thing. So, but they don't have tools. And he's going to build 3 sukkah. All right, I'll leave it. You can think about it, I suppose. So then, yes, ma'am.
Earlier, when you were talking about the 7, you said God has layers.
Yes,
Well, I
God has layers.
when you folded the clouds, and that was what the Israelites were surrounded by exploring and covering. But at the very end, when you fold the tabernacle, which comes right after canopy, which is Sukkot, doesn't that talk about what's coming in the kingdom or seeing the layers throughout Scripture, all the things in the kingdom? We saw
Again, very, very complicated. Can't get it on tape. I bolded the first one and the last one because the first one is cloud and the last one is sukkah. And I want you to see that his clouds are his sukkah. And yes, there's layers of covering. Okay, now look at the 2 words. Go to the back page. Look at the 2 words, smoke and fire. I told you I believe there was smoke and fire in it at all times. But you could just see the smoke better during the day. And you could see the fire better at night because it's bright and it's dark out. But I believe they were both in it. Look at how they're spelled in Hebrew.
Right.
Aleph Shin. They both have Aleph Shin. You know how they say where there's smoke, there's fire? That's exactly right. Where there's fire, Ish, there's smoke, Ish, Shun. And where there's smoke, Ashan, there's fire, Ish. So one is in the other. They're both the same thing, basically. But the way we think about stuff is clouds are dark, fire's bright. But that's not how it works. They're both bright, they're both dark. Now, why did I bring that up? Because God led, like in front, hovered over, protected him from behind by this big sukkah, this glory cloud, right? But it says that God walked with them in the desert. Did you know that? It doesn't say he followed them. It doesn't say he led them. And it doesn't say he hovered over them. We just say that. What it says is he walked in front of them in the cloud. Yes.
But these 2 words, Ashan and Ish, do they have the same
Root?
root as Ish or man?
No.
No.
It's a different word from Ish, man. Ashan and Ish.
Okay.
Okay, so God walked. He walked on legs, yeah? So what we're looking for, like, what is look at those 2 palm trees right behind you. Look at the 2 palm trees right behind you. See those? Picture that. big giant legs. Now what it says, it doesn't say a covering of fire and smoke. What does it say in the Torah?
Pillar.
A pillar, right. And it does use the word pillar. It says he walked ahead of them and covered them, it says. He walked ahead of them and covered them in a pillar of fire and a pillar of smoke. Yes?
Yes.
2 pillars, but it's only one.
Right.
Because Esh and Ashan are the same thing.
Each one's a pillar.
It's just one, but it's really 2
Right.
because it's fire and smoke. So my mind, because it's Sukkot, immediately went to the temple. Why? When did Solomon dedicate the temple? Sukkot. He dedicated the temple at Sukkot. He started 7 days before, on the 7th, and they partied for 7 days up till the 15th, and then they partied 7 more days, right through Sukkot. They offered hundreds of thousands of sacrifices. This is before the temple was built. So he's just like getting everything together. He has built all the stuff. Now he's got all the vessels and all the gold and the silver and the bronze and the house and the altar. Then they start making the sacrifices, and then they go all the way through Sukkot with this huge party, making sacrifices, and the kavod shows up at the end of it. The kavod shows up. So this happened at Sukkot. Now I got a picture. I don't know if you guys ever noticed. I've used this picture many, many, many times, and it has the whole temple and the altar and the rest of the temple there, you know, the front of the house and everything. But I cropped it down so you can see the front of the house. I don't think I've ever seen an illustration that has pomegranates as the top of the columns, the pillars. But that's what they were, because it describes what's called a protuberance. That's what it says, a protuberance, which is the belly of the pomegranate. And it's huge. These are huge. They're 3 cubits tall. A cubit is 18 inches, so that's 5 feet tall. Each one is this big. It's a big pomegranate, this big, made out of bronze, like from the ground to here. And that was put up on the top of each of the pillars. The pillars are called yachin. What does yachin mean? What does yachin mean? What does Benjamin mean? Son of my right hand. Yachin. And what does Boaz mean?
Is it strength?
Yeah, strength. From Ma'oz, strength. Yachin is right hand, and Boaz is strength. I know it's not Yamin, it's Yachin, but it means the same thing. 1 Kings 7, there were capitals, that's the pomegranates, on the 2 pillars. Now, remember, the pillars are God's what?
Legs.
His legs. And on top of the pillars are pomegranates. On the 2 pillars, above and close to the rounded projection, the protuberance, which was before the network, and the pomegranates were 200 in 2 rows. So how many pomegranates are on each pillar? On each capital this tall? The capital is the pomegranate. How many pomegranates are on that big giant pomegranate? Okay, you weren't paying attention. 1 Kings 7:20, there were capitals. That's the pomegranates on the 2 pillars, above and close to the protuberance, the rounded projection, which was before the network. The pomegranates were 200 in rows around both capitals. There's 2 rows of 200 pomegranates. How many pomegranates does each capital have? 400. 1 Kings 7:42. And the 400 pomegranates, there it is, for the 2 networks, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network to cover the 2 bowls. Now it calls them bowls. That's the rounded thingy, the belly of the capitals on the tops of the pillars. 2 Kings 25. The height of one pillar was 18 cubits, and a bronze capital was on it. The height of the capital was 3 cubits, with a network and pomegranates on the capital all around, all of bronze. And the second pillar was like these with networks. All right? So, what are the 2 pillars? And on top of that is pomegranates. 400 pomegranates per leg. Yes? Okay, this is a picture of God's seed at the top of his legs. Yes?
Yep.
Look at the picture. There's one on one side of the doorway and one on the other side of the doorway. So in order to go into God's presence, you have to pass under what? His seed. His seed. You are correct. You have to pass under his seed into the house. It says in Genesis, a ruler shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff the ruler's staff shall not depart from Judah, nor a ruler from between his legs, until Shiloh comes. Picture this. From between his legs. It's, in essence, it's a picture of God's testicles, his seed. And that is the place of life. Now, remember, the pillars are God walking in the desert. Yes? That's his glory. Yes?
Yes.
Pictured in the sukkah. But it's his glory. It is his glory, his kavod. It's his 7 layers of protection. So, if you want, you can go look up. All we did was like scratch the surface. There's so many verses about those pillars and about the pomegranates on them and about how they were built, how big they were, and why they're important. But to me, I just think that's amazing. Those 2 palm trees right behind you that are tall and strong, and they got a big ball on top. In this case, it's the palm fronds, yes?
Yeah.
But in that case, it was pomegranate seed. And that's a picture of what?
God's legs.
Okay. What's it a picture of?
God's legs.
His legs that he walked on in the wilderness to cover the Jews. Yes?
Yeah.
That's his glory. So that's why this is a picture of a cloud. That's why this is a picture of a cloud. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the prayer for eating in the sukkah, and then we'll rearrange the chairs and stuff so we can sit under the sukkah. And it's on the bottom of the back page, dwelling in the sukkah, or sitting in the sukkah. It's the same word. So let's stand and say this together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'shev b'sukkah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King, who has set us apart by his establishments and established for us to sit or dwell in